All right, guys, I'm back. It's June 17th, and I got some player props to get into. But before we do, let's recap last time. All right, recapping the Tier 1 and Tier 2 plays. I'm a little disappointed, but let's get into it. Aaron Judge, he singled for us. And then Profar, man, he couldn't get a hit. He's been so good to us all season long, but, he's due to, you got to have an off day, I guess. So we're not going to hold it against you, man. Recapping the Tier 1 plays on the season. We hit 85 of the last 103 suggested players on the channel just to record a hit for an 83% hit rate. Now moving on to the Tier 2 plays, Lane Thomas hits a home run. He doubled also. We also had Fernando Tatis Jr. He doubled. So we went 2-0 on our Tier 2 plays. So bringing our season record to, we hit 144 of the last 194 for a 75% hit rate. All right, recapping the new experimental 3-pitch strategy. It is what it is. The name's right there. Basically, instead of leaving these players out because they don't grade high enough to be in Tier 1 or Tier 2, we're going to experiment a little bit and say, you might be flawed a little bit in the matchup versus the pitcher, but because the pitcher only throws 3 or less pitches, there might be a good opportunity for them to identify and record, get a better chance to record a hit when, like I said, 3 pitches is a lot easier to identify which one's coming at you versus facing a typical pitcher that might have 4, 5, 6, and maybe even 7. Okay, so this, like I said, this is an experimental strategy just to try to give us some more options, but just keep in mind that these options might be, they're not the best of the best, okay? At least we haven't proved it yet. Like I said, on the season, just the 4 correct batters to record a hit and 2 that did not come through for us. So like I said, be careful playing these ones. All right, let's recap how we did on Dinger Sunday, a practice for Dinger Tuesday that we've been having so much success the last 3 times I come out with the Dinger Tuesday videos. We had some success today. We had 14 players. 2 of them were eliminated because Suarez of the Arizona Diamondbacks did not play. And I said, Brian McMahon, we don't know his matchup, but when we do, only if he's going up against a right-handed pitcher, which he was going up against a left-handed pitcher, so that disqualified him, leaving us with 12 left. And if you were to put 1 unit on all of them, we hit 4 of 12, and you would have been up 6.90 units. I also broke down 4 players that were in significant weather, a game where that was going to help the probability of hitting home runs. And they also were going up against some pitchers that had some deficiencies in terms of how well they allow for home runs to be hit off of them. And those are the ones that I played. I only played 4 of them. I hit 1 of them. So I didn't do as well as if I would have just played every single one of them. But all right, like I said, plus 6.9 units if you played every one today for the same unit size. Let's move on. I got 2 plays for today, and let's get right to it. All right, guys, there's limited games today in the MLB. It's a Monday, so there's only 9 games. So there's a limited pool of players to select from, okay? So I only have 2 for today, and unfortunately, both of them fit under that 3-pitch strategy, that experimental strategy. So right off the bat, I'm letting you guys know, I'm going to play both of these in a parlay, but I'm going to reduce my bet size down accordingly because, like I said, this is just an unproven strategy. I'm going to have a little bit of fun, play a little bit, and just wait for Tuesday where we're going to have fireworks, hopefully. We got Dinger Tuesday. I'm going to have home run plays, okay? And I'm going to have the regular videos when we have a full slate of games and a plethora of players to select from. So we're going to have 2 videos coming out on Tuesday, the home run and then the hot batter versus pitcher matchups. And hopefully we'll have plenty Tier 1 and Tier 2 plays. So with that being said, here we go. Jurickson Profar versus Christopher Sanchez, 3-pitch strategy. So the number 1 pitch Sanchez throws 46% of the time, the sinker. He's giving that up at a 382 batting average. Absolutely horrible. And Profar takes advantage of that sinker. He's taken advantage of it all season long to the tune of a 429 batting average. Right there, I'm like, oh man. I mean, if you stop right there, it's Tier 1. But unfortunately, he's not a one-pitch pitcher. He throws two other balls, and when you look 36%, the changeup, he's commanding that very well at a 191 batting average. That's why this does not grade out as a tier 1 or a tier 2, but we're trying this three-pitch strategy where maybe we could allow for one pitch to be pretty good, okay? Especially when Profar is hitting the changeup at a 600 rate. Okay, this is the experiment. We're going to see how this works. Like I said, we're only 4 correct batters this year and 2 incorrect in terms of predicting to record a hit. This is unproven. So moving on to the third pitch, 18% the slider, giving that pitch up at a 282 batting average. I love it. So 2 out of the 3 balls that Sanchez throws, he's not very good at commanding. But when you look at Profar, he's not batting very well against the slider, only a 222 average. So, like I said, this would not grade out in tier 1 or tier 2 for those reasons right there, that Sanchez has a really good pitch, okay, the changeup. And then Profar does not hit the slider very well. But we're trying to see if, because he only throws 3 balls, it's easier for Profar to identify which one is coming at him when you only have 3 versus 5 or 6 or 7 that some pitchers throw, okay? So we're just I'm going to take this slow. I'm going to play a parlay with this guy and the next guy in the next slide, and I'm going to reduce my bet size just to have a little bit of fun as a placeholder, if you will, to bridge the gap until Tuesday, the next day, where we're going to have Dinger Tuesday, a plethora of home run opportunities. Hopefully tier 1 and tier 2 plays in the hot batter versus pitcher matchups for us to construct some parlays or what have you. So, like I said, take this slow because, like I said, these are just those experimental 3-pitch strategies. Ballpark Pal has this listed as an extreme advantage for Profar. He represents the worst 5 percentile possible matchups for Sanchez. When you look at Profar against left-handed pitchers this year, he's recorded at least 1 hit in 19 of his last 23 games. He's got a 400 batting average in the last 14 days for his left-handed pitchers. His barrel rate's in the good range. His ISO rate is in the good range. I got him as a medium home run threat. I'm not touching him. Stay away from that. He has the power for extra base hits if you must play over 1.5 total bases because you're just a player that wants to play individual bets or straight bets. I think it's in play, but the baseline prediction, like as always, is just to record a hit. All right, and the only other play, and this again goes under the 3-pitch strategy. I didn't put the icon on the screen right here, and I left some other things out on the screen. We'll get into it. Doesn't really matter. I'll let you know. David Peterson, he basically throws 2 pitches. His 2 other pitches he throws has a grand total of 3 total at-bats. So you're looking at basically 2, the sinker and the slider. He throws the sinker at 45% of the time, and he's giving it up at a 500 batting average. Now, granted, he hasn't seen a lot of left-handed batters this season. He's only had 9 at-bats with the sinker. And the slider, he gives up at a 286 batting average. He's only had 7 at-bats for that. Like I said, he has a very limited size. So this is a real wild card, man. Who knows how this will go. Low against those 2 pitches, a 333 batting average versus the sinker, a 375 versus the slider. When you look at Ballpark Pal, they evaluate this game. They have it as an extreme advantage for Low. He represents the worst 5 percentile possible matchups for Peterson. Low, in the last 11 games, he's got at least 1 hit in 9 of his last 11. He's got a 500 batting average versus left-handed pitchers in the last 14 days. It's a low sample size too. So this one screams like, man, this one, man, I don't know. Okay, let's move on. Barrel rate is non-existent. Okay. So that means barrel rate. Again, what is that? That measures the percentage of times that you hit the ball and it launches off the bat at a launch angle of 25 to 35 degrees in conjunction with 95 miles an hour or more exit velocity coming off the bat, okay? That's the sweet spot for hitting home runs. So he has not in the last 14 days hit any of those. So he's got 0 barrels, essentially. So 0 barrel rate. His ISO rate is non-existent. So I have him as a no home run threat. Don't touch them. No power for extra bases either. So this is just strictly if you need to have someone to put in the little parlay like I do, and I'm going to put the parlay, like I said, I'm going to play a real small unit size on this parlay with low and profar. And, like I said, knock yourself out if you like either one of these two or whatever. There you go. That's all I have for today, unfortunately. So, like I said, it's a short slate of games. And Tuesday, hopefully there'll be some fireworks because we'll have plenty of opportunities to, do a lot of stuff. So we'll leave it right there. I'll just talk to you guys tomorrow.